Hello everyone, this is excandersham from Ghostlands EU, and this is part 1 of my Undead Hunter Let's Play. We're probably going to be playing 1 to 60, and we're going to be doing dungeons and PvP and whatnot. It's going to be different from my previous Let's Play. I am going to start shutting up in a few seconds now because there is going to be a cinematic, so I hope you enjoy the cinematic.
Though Lady Sylvanas and her Forsaken finally took vengeance upon their hated enemy, the Lich King, their dark crusade in Northrend proved costly. Betrayed by Grand Apothecary Putrus at the Battle of Wrathgate, the Forsaken's devious plague of death was unleashed upon both the Alliance and the Horde to calamitous effect. Unbeknownst to Sylvanas, Putrus and his demonic ally, Veramathras, had taken control of the Undercity. As a result, the Forsaken were wrongly blamed for the traitor's atrocities. Though the Undercity was eventually retaken, Sylvanas and her followers still bear the weight of Putrus' sins. Mistrusted by the other members of the Horde, the Forsaken must now prove their loyalty to the cause and redeem themselves from their supposed treachery. To this end, Sylvanas has bolstered her defenses within the Tirisfal glades and readied her undead forces for any contingency. As one of the Forsaken, you must use your cunning and viciousness to slay any who would pose a threat to Sylvanas' rule, be they human, undead, or otherwise.
Okay, sorry about the choppiness of the actual starting zone, opening cutscene. I've always had a problem with my computer and Fraps working with the cutscenes. It's just something that happens. It doesn't really load the textures properly quite quickly, and it causes it to sputter. But as soon as you actually get into the game, it's perfectly fine. You start off as an undead who's been resurrected after the fall of the Lich King. The starting zone has been updated somewhat. There are some of the quests that are exactly the same, but they have improved some of the questing, and they've improved the leveling structure to tell you exactly what's actually happening in the zone. And it does reference stuff like what's happening in Lich King, so it isn't just out of sync with everywhere else. This is one of the better starting zones. Probably it's about like the 4th best if you don't count the Burning Crusade ones. My favourite is still the Troll one, but this one is quite good as well. This is Valdred Moray. He doesn't have hands, so we need to get him hands. But yes, we don't get him hands. We tell him to go over to the Undertaker Mordo, and he gets hands from them. So yes, apparently that is a reference to something in one of the questing areas, but to be honest, I didn't do much questing for Horde, so I probably wouldn't realise it even if I had a photographic memory. You do actually get a buddy system for some reason during the game. It's the same mechanic you get in the Troll starting zone. You get like an NPC undead following around, helping you do some quests with you, but to be honest, it's kind of unneeded. He's not really. He is useful for one quest, and he is responsible for completing one quest. But as you can see here, he isn't even fighting. He's just staying around with me and just talking a little bit. See, I think some corpses are up ahead. Let's go, Undead LP. Yes, I can see corpses. I really don't care whether you see them as well. But he does actually get a promotion, and we never see him again. So what was the point of this character? I don't know. Maybe it's to make people less. I don't know. Maybe it's to make people who don't have a guild yet feel like they're part of the game. But it's not really implemented well. If it was done throughout the entirety of the Undead starting zone, i.e. all of Tirisfal Glades, it would probably be a nice addition. But really, you're only gonna meet Darnell for the first like 5 or 6 quests, and then you never hear from him again. And it just feels like, what was the point of actually having this guy in the questing area whatsoever? The brunt of the main quest lines in Tirisfal Glades at the starting zone is due to the new undead that have actually been resurrected after the fall of the Lich King, and the Forsaken have decided to rebuild their numbers. This is specifically with 2 of the undead, which is Marshall Redpath and Lillian Voss. Lillian Voss is the daughter of Benedictus Voss, who is a boss in the Scarlet Monastery. And apparently she died. She was trained to fight the undead scourge, and now she died and has been resurrected as a undead. And she isn't really taking it quite well. She really doesn't like us, but she isn't overtly hostile. She seems to be, you know, she seems to be like a girl who, she seems to be like a little girl who's can't come to terms with the fact that she's dead, so she isn't in the emotional state to deal with it at this moment in time. And the other thing is Martial Redpath. Now, if you've actually been following the Cataclysm story arcs, the Undead did manage to take a massive amount of land in northern Eastern Kingdoms. I think they've actually taken all of it. Is there even one area that isn't completely taken over by Undead? There's, well, Ares Peak, whatever that place is. Forgotten what, I think it's called Ares Peak. That's the place in the Wildhammer foothills or somewhere. Wherever the Wildhammer dwarfs are, that's still part of the Alliance, I think. But places like South Shore, Alterac Mountains, Silver Pine, they're all Undead area. Basically, they actually seem to be one of the most successful factions in regards to how much land they control. Which does actually explain well, it makes sense. They can resurrect their enemies and use their own corpses against them. Of course, it'd be a very efficient army to fight against. To be honest, there isn't much difference in the when we're actually going for these questing areas, and when you see the actual questing going on, you'll find out that the Forsaken don't seem to be that much different from the Scourge. Especially Lady Savannah. She seems to want to push for more power than she really needs to get at the moment, and the Horde doesn't like it either. So yes, Marshal Redpath does get resurrected. He is not part of the Forsaken. Actually, this was something I should have actually explained. When Forsaken get resurrected, it's explained in the starting zone that they get resurrected and they have a choice. They can either choose to join with Lady Sylvanas and the Forsaken, or they're allowed to do whatever they want. They don't actually have to join with anyone. They can just stay and just go off and do their own thing. The only reason that the only thing they can't do is they can't attack the Forsaken. That's kind of meh. That's not something they really like. And this is something that's actually quite fun. What they've actually done is Marshal Redpath, who was the, well, I don't think he's called Marshal Redpath. Yeah, it's still called Marshal Redpath. He was a quest giver in South Shore. He's now been taken over to Deathnell and he's been raised as a Forsaken. And he has decided to draw up a force of Forsaken that don't like what they've done. They don't like the fact that they've been just killed and resurrected as Forsaken. So they've decided to raise a army to try and fight off the undead of Tirisfal Glades, but they weren't, they weren't very successful. As you can see, Marshal Redpath has actually had a sufficient loss in levels. Marshal Redpath used to be level 41, but obviously as soon as he was resurrected, he either has lost several arms, he's lost his ability to hold a sword, because he's now level 5, and level 5's fighting the undead isn't a no, to be honest. Yeah, but it's just quest mechanics, but Marshal Redpath's rebellion really just sucks. It lasts like one quest, and once you've actually completed that quest, your friend, who I've already forgotten the name of, becomes a Death Guard at Tirisfal Glades, and you never hear from him again. To be honest, in a few weeks I'll probably forget I even freaking met the guy. That's how insignificant this NPC is in the entire questing area. I don't mind this actually being added, but it'd be really, really nice if they actually improved the questing character and made him pop up for the rest of your questing experiences, because now it feels like just a redundant character. Yeah, it feels like actually like the Dragon Age Origins characters, where you met them at the beginning of the game and in your origin story, and then you go back to talk to them later in the game, and then that's about it. That's how it actually feels. Well, actually, the Dragon Age Origins characters they were better because you actually saw them at the end of the game and they actually had some development. That guy had very little. Once you've actually completed all the quests for the undead in the starting zone, you then go over to this estate where you get a few quests. You have to kill 10 Tirisfal farmers. Why they haven't left this area, I do not know. We need to collect 10 Tirisfal pumpkins. Why, I don't know. Maybe one of them likes pumpkins. And the other thing is ever so lonely. There is a lonely old man who wants a Murloc pet. Oh, it's so sad. But that's the end of the video, guys, so thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope to see you in part 2 of the Undead leveling. We're going to be going through most of the questing areas, and from 1 to 6 probably, 1 to 60 probably. Well, 1 to 6 would be pretty shit, because like the next video will be like 2 minutes long. And that's about it. So thank you for watching, guys. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you want to like, please like. And if you want to comment, please comment. I hope to see you again. So peace out.